Maybe I should pat myself on the back.
Let's pat ourselves on the back because it's the last Zócalo of 2019. Hey, everybody!
The year was 2019. The place, a
The
Zocalo Live.
Zócalo.
Yes. What's up?
Yes. How's it going, Norm?
It's going well. It's going well. I mean, all things considered, being that this is kind of like the, I guess it's the calm before the second storm of the holiday season in a way.
Kind of. We're in that weird time warp part of the year where we're between holidays. We just had Christmas and Boxing Day, Hanukkah, blah, 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 blah. It's all going on right about now. And then we're leading into the new year, and a lot of people have time off from work. And if you're like me and you have to work anyway, it's just like, what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
And it's so boggling to the mind. And then we're going to be changing into a new decade, a new year, and just so many things going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of change happening. And I think that the one thing that was weird with like the holiday season so far this year is that both Christmas and New Year's fall on a Wednesday, which means
so
that,
weird.
You know, yeah, you're cutting like the week in half because people are like, well, do I party? Do I not party? You know, how hard do I party? I got to go to work the next day. There's only so many times that I can call in sick. You know,
right? We only get so many hangover days in the year. You know, I think that's the big problem with this year, on top of the fact that Thanksgiving came so late in November this year. The holiday season felt like a really short crunch. We were all feeling stressed and just crazy, and it came on so fast. And then now we're just barreling right through to the very end of the year here.
I had this really interesting conversation about the holidays with a friend of mine, and I said, when or where was it written that everyone really needs to just stress out to the nth degree with travel plans and cooking and prepping and shopping and entertaining and everything? Like, I mean, there are a handful of people that really, like, they put themselves through the ringer to do that. And everyone else kind of like rides along in and kind of just, they arrive, they eat, they drop off their gifts, they get their gifts, and they leave. And like, that should be it for everybody. Like, I don't like it when people don't have a good time in the holidays because they feel like they're too stressed about ticking off all the holiday boxes. You know what I mean?
Yes. And to be honest, what for? If you're thoroughly enjoying it, if that's something you really want to do, awesome, go for it. But if you're feeling stressed and you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or it's just not worth it in the end, you really don't have the time for it, you know what? You don't have to do it just because that's what you've done every other year.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, if you're really looking forward to it and you want to do it, and that's how you get your holiday kicks, knock yourself out.
Go for it. Do it.
I just feel badly when, like, people at work, they're like, well, I got to leave a little bit earlier and I got to take a shorter lunch because I manage people. So, you know, they tell me, it's like, I got to, take a shorter lunch, and because I got to go home, I got to do shopping, I got to do this, that. And I'm like, you don't gotta do anything, right?
Yo. Yeah. Speaking of which, you know what? My holiday failure of the year went to you, Norm. And I feel awful about it, and there was nothing I could do because what I wanted to get you, I thought would be fairly easy to get and have delivered to your door. Guess what? Nope. It ended up being in short supply, and I can't get any until about the early January.
Brevari is hard to get nowadays.
How did you know it was Brevari? You don't know what kind of Brevari, though.
It's always Brevari.
I mean, you're easy to shop for, but in terms of availability, what I wanted to get you was not in stock. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's okay.
And I couldn't get it anywhere. And I'm just like, shit.
It'll just be better when it arrives.
That's right. And heads up, when it does arrive, when I can finally get it, we're going to have to do some lunch or something sometime, because that's been a long time since we've done that. And let's get ourselves some Mexican food or something. I'll either come to you, you can come to me. I don't care which. And yeah, let's just make an afternoon of it. It'll be fun.
Although we're going to have to do something like different for me, because at the beginning of the year, I will be going vegan/vegetarian.
Hey, okay. Well, you know what? That's okay. A Mexican food is really easy to veganize.
Okay.
Get a bean burrito. Yeah. No cheese, no sour cream. Still tastes delicious.
I'm sure.
You can just load salsa all over it. You're golden.
See, I'm good with that. Totally.
I've done it.
Yeah.
All right. So vegan, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's if you start working with new recipes for vegan cheese, I want to know because I love cashew cheese,
Okay.
but making it seems like a real pain in the butt.
Well, it's all the little holes in the Swiss cashews. That's the problem. You know, you
I
get a
thought
lot of
maybe
cashew
I
meat.
thought maybe it would just be not being able to mix thoroughly in the food processor or something, but you can
Folding all
tell
that.
me your tips and tricks after you've done them.
Well, I got a vegan cookbook because the I was gifted a what do you call those air fryers,
Oh,
right?
uh-huh.
Or no, an Instapot. I'm sorry, an Instapot.
Oh, and it oh, you know,
Yeah.
I hear people raving like about those things all the time.
Yeah, so there's an Instapot vegan cookbook
Hmm.
that Carol's going through right now because we both want to do it together for not just for health reasons, but um, as the proud father of two bunnies now, not just one but two.
That's right, two
Two
bunnies.
bunnies.
What's
Uh,
happened in your world lately?
yeah, yeah. I kind of I'm having a hard time kind of coming to terms with being a carnivore anymore.
Ah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
and I'm
Is the
not.
disconnect fading away?
Yeah, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite because I loved me a good cowboy cut ribeye once upon a time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But as with all things change, mentalities change, habits
Absolutely.
change, religions change, eating habits change.
Yeah, we all
Yeah,
learn, we grow, we change. It's life and it's good.
yeah. And speaking of which, one thing that hasn't changed is my love for Bravari and yours.
Indeed. So, Valtool.
Valtool for the last Valtool for 2019.
Oh my goodness. I really can't believe we're here. We're at the end of this craziness that's been this year. 2020 prediction. For as much of a show as the last few years have been, this coming year is going to be downright explosive, but a very distinct change in direction. Like we're going to know exactly where we're headed.
We are.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think
And I'm
you're
not
right.
just saying politically or socially. I think it's all of the things.
Oh, interesting. Oh yeah,
In a
2020 is going to
lot of
be a.
ways. I mean, it's been a lot of chaos as of late, but I
Mhm.
feel like 2020, maybe it's just the whole 2020 vision thing, but I feel like things are going to, as cheesy as this sounds, come into focus. We're going to know exactly where we're headed, and we're either you're going to like it or we're not.
Well, here's a couple things that I had maybe like on the tip of my tongue about looking at long-term projects, and maybe we look at a like a certain either character progression or storyline progression or things that are multiple episodes, because I think that
Mm,
one of the bigger successes that we had this year, we're doing like the multiple episode formats, because I think that people were hinging on seeing the next episode after the next episode after the next episode, and it makes a nice
yeah.
compilation, you know.
I agree. I agree. And it's fun to build up that tension just a little bit, whether it was intentional or not. Like when we did the review of Joe Straczynski's book that came out this year, Becoming Superman, we thought that might be a two-parter. We ended up
Mm.
stretching it out to three.
Hmm.
And you know what? I'm really proud of that work. We tried to be as comprehensive as we could be with that review because that book is something else.
Yeah, that was one of the big surprises of this year for sure, because
Definitely.
little did we know that that book was going to be as powerful as it was when we read it or when we reread it.
Yes.
It was something that we knew that Joe went through some things. We knew that he had a little bit of a checkered past, but not because of himself, because of the situations that are beyond his control.
Right.
But they were always alluded to in, say, either DVD special features or interviews online. He'll always kind of like mention a portion of his past, but now you got
Yeah.
the entirety of it, and now you can put the entirety of his life into the context of his work, which makes his work so much more powerful
Oh
in
gosh.
a new reality, in a way.
Yes. And you and I have both gone into various other pieces of his work, seen where he has drawn that life experience, put it into that work, and just kind of reflected and thought, oh my God. I
Yep.
mean, when you hear just snippets of things like, yeah, Joe had a rough life, he's got a past, but then when you take it all in that book
Mhm.
and then reflect on it and all the other things that he's done since, it really is amazing.
one of these days we're going to see something either on screen or in his maybe in his new comic book that's going to be coming out soon.
Yes, which I'm seriously excited about. It
Yeah.
looks like it's going to be epic.
The
If he's
Resistance.
proud of it, I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, he tweeted out something the other day where he's saying like this is the best comic book work he believes he's done ever.
I mean, whoa.
And then
Hello, what about Midnight Nation?
Right? Or any, I mean, you know, I've read his Thor, I've read his Spider-Man, I've read his Superman, Earth Ones, Midnight Nation. If he says that, and he's rare to toot his own horn.
Right, that too.
That's got to say something, right?
Yeah, right? It does, though. It does, because Joe is a pretty humble guy considering what he's achieved.
Yeah, he likes, like, he'll engage conversation about praise for his work, but he won't out and go, like, straight out praise his own work. You know what I mean?
No, he's not the kind of guy who usually just says, yeah, you know what? That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't say it like that.
So what do you think of maybe even, because this is the Zocalo, maybe even incorporating more like outside works that either are on the, you know, like on the tangent or the periphery of Babylon 5, say like focusing, like covering the Resistance when it comes out, or his other works like Midnight Nation or things like that?
I mean, I feel like that's all within the Babylon 5 umbrella because it's related to Babylon 5 people. I am not opposed one bit. And as a way of keeping content fresh and new, we should talk about those things.
Yeah. I think
I'm
so
into
too.
it. Yeah.
Because I think that now we're finding kind of like our true voice as fans, you know, and we're Babylon 5 fans for sure. And we can always go back and default into Babylon 5 content. But I do think that there are a section of our listeners that really need to see the larger scope of Joe's work and how a lot of that work does relate to Babylon 5. Like, say we mentioned Midnight Nation. And Midnight Nation 1 came about because he was attacked in San Diego and was laid up in that hospital bed for, you know, weeks at a time. And 2, the walkabout story in that particular storyline was very reminiscent of what Stephen Franklin went through.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. So many connections we can be making. Absolutely.
And there are occasions where there are, I wouldn't say that he kind of recycles his own work, but he does definitely borrow from himself. And why not? Because it's his work. It's, you know, it's like any musician, like, you know, using their own cut material, if you will, and then reincorporating it into other works.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get to see a little bit more of a larger landscape and canvas of Joe's material, whether it made it into Babylon 5 or it made it into other works or was somehow even enhanced in future works, like, say, Sense8.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. You know, that's a series I'd love to go back and rewatch because it's been a couple of years since I watched it now. But that series is so complex. And it's like Babylon 5, where at first you have no idea what's really going on. It takes a good few episodes to really get and grasp what is even happening. And then when you do, though, you're just your mind is blown. It's just an incredible concept. Yeah. Oh, that would be a lot of fun. I think, especially for making ties to Babylon 5, we're making it all the more relevant to this audience. So let's focus on some of those things, maybe new or otherwise, in the coming year.
I had another idea that I wanted to propose to you because I thought it was relevant to where I am right now as a fan and how it relates to Babylon 5. And that would be, I would love to do at times maybe a multi-episode project on the similarities and differences, or kind of like everything in between. The Venn diagram meets where Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine crossover.
Oh my God. Oh, bruh.
Yeah.
You're opening such a big can of worms. I don't want to say no, though.
It could be a can of worms, but it really depends on where the ideas fall on the people that want to hear them or want to just completely disagree.
Yes, this could be an issue where we're just going to have people hating and bashing all the time because they want to, and that's all they want to know. Or could we have a legit good discussion about some parallels, also about where these series differ, because I feel like they land in very different places. They might have started off really on a similar foot. They might have even been copied.
Well, there is.
Not going to say anything further.
I have a great title for the episode too. It's going to be Deep Space Franchises.
I love that little poke, for the record. Just one little jab. One.
Just a little. It's a little jab. It's a little
just
jab.
a little one. It's so cute. Hey, while we're there, I don't know.
Yes.
My mind I just blanked. I'm really tired.
Are you?
I really need my neck to pop right here. I know I need my chiropractor to just be with me at all times. Like, hey, just adjust me right now. Come on, let's go. I want to say hi to Terry, because Terry's here with us live, and she's giving all sorts of comments. And I did not know that Colorado's favorite food is green chili, not microbrew. Okay, I would have thought that too. Maybe in Fort Collins, but green chili, I am down. I am so down. That sounds amazing. When can we come over if you're cooking? I mean, I'm here.
A vegan stuffed green chili. That sounds amazing.
Or just even like a smothered burrito.
Yeah, with chili verde.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Always a really good green chili sauce is awesome. Now, usually the ones that I like are kind of like it's a it has kind of like carnitas in the green chili.
Yeah.
That stuff is ridiculous. But that's
sure. But you can veganize that now.
Oh, true. There are things with diets or with the way that people approach eating. It's like you can always you have to work hard at it, but the results that you're working towards are worth working hard for, right?
Also, the more you work at it, the easier it gets, right? Habits.
Yeah. It's exactly habits, right? And
it's easier now than ever to veganize things, especially living in Los Angeles like we do, in the major LA area / Orange County, this massive metropolis that we live in. Vegan food is as accessible as ever. Yeah. You can get beefless tips and grill them up, and that's going to be your carne asada. Yeah,
you just got to look at it a different way, right? You got to look as with anything that's worth doing. You got to look at it a different way. Terrelyn says, "Shar, try a tennis ball under your neck, right where it's tight."
Oh, I don't know if I have a tennis ball.
How about a grapefruit or an orange?
I don't.
How about a sideways bottle of booze?
We don't have a whole lot of fruit in the house right now. I'm sorry.
Or tennis balls, for that matter.
Or tennis balls. I don't know if we have any like hanging out in the garage at random or not. Like, I'm not a very good tennis player. I took lessons when I was 14. Side note. I was not very good. I love badminton though. Isn't that weird? Because it's kind of the same idea. You're forehanding and backhanding, but badminton, I don't know if I just enjoy it more, but I feel like I'm better at it.
That's something that I wanted to see also. And I wanted to see more sports activities on Babylon 5.
Oh, yeah. Cause we didn't get a whole lot, right? We got baseball.
Pretty much. Oh,
wasn't it?
That's another thing that we should talk about. The B5 baseball team versus the Deep Space Nine baseball team. Versus the Vulcan.
You know what? Okay.
Team.
Norm, we ought to develop who's going to play which position of the B5 crew.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Let's
do that. That's a great idea. Put it in the bank. Let's do it.
How funny would it be to see, characters like Lanier put on a Minbari putting on a baseball hat?
I'm not sure how that would work.
That's the funny part. It's just
you're gonna have to cut a hole in that thing for the bone to come through.
or even like Jakar wearing a baseball hat. I would have paid money. Right? Londo.
Imagine the jersey. Hey, that's a Photoshop waiting to happen.
Londo would be like, "I'm not wearing a baseball. What is this? Baseball."
But my hair.
It's like, this is an entire affront to the Centauri Empire.
I will push this ball for the honor of the Republic.
Here, open my wrists. So.
I have a feeling. Oh, and can you imagine Veer playing outfield?
See, I think Veer would outfield would be great, but I think it would be funny if he tried to ref. I'm sure is he out? I'm not sure if he's out. Is he out? Is he safe?
That would not go well.
It's like, well, you got to make a call, Veer. Yeah, but I don't know if he should.
Well, I mean, if we're following Deep Space Nine's blueprint, wouldn't Garibaldi, with the man who is all for justice, be the ref?
That's a good question. That's a good, because Odo was ref, right?
Right here. You're out of there.
Rest in peace, Renee
Oh,
Auberge-Genois.
yeah. That
Yeah.
was unexpected, at least to me, and it's very sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. And there were a lot of, I mean, not to go off on a tangent here, but there were, since we're also a science fiction show and we're fans of science fiction, there were a lot of really just very, I guess, surprise or a deluge of celebrity deaths in science fiction this year. A lot on the
Yeah,
Star Trek side,
especially with
sure.
Star Trek, where, I mean, as Babylon 5 fans, like, we know what this is like. We've lost a lot of cast members, but for Star Trek
Yeah.
fans, yes, some of the original cast has gone because, I mean, they are getting up there in age. But
Yeah.
we lost Aaron Eisenberg, we lost
Mhm.
Renee Auberjonois, we lost DC Fontana.
Yeah.
It was a hard hitting year.
Yeah, and I mean there were we lost I'm sorry I don't remember his name exactly, but we lost the actor who played Charlie X.
Yes, yes, and there
Yeah.
always seems to be a little slew of guest actors who
Yeah.
go into the ether.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, when I heard like especially Renee's death and DC's, I was like,
Within a week of each other too.
yeah,
That
that
was
was like,
especially hard.
yeah, that was a double punch. But it was like,
Mhm.
it was like as Babylon 5 fans, every time we heard of like, breaking news about Babylon 5, it was always like, which of our celebrities, has gone beyond the rim,
Yeah.
for us, which
Right.
thankfully hasn't been, any in a while.
Yeah. Well, knock on the faux wood, right? Because
Yeah.
it seems like just when a couple years pass, somebody else has to go. And I'm grateful that those who we do have with us still seem to be taking good care of themselves. And I hope
Yeah.
that continues to be the case because dang it, we can't afford to lose any more in the B5 universe.
What also we should do, and I don't think we've done this yet, but we should like focus on a lot of kind of the Babylon 5 specifically, not just crossovers, but the Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine actors or actresses that have crossed over.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting.
I just recently saw that episode with Tracy Scoggins as a Cardassian scientist.
That's right. She was there.
Yeah.
Before she played Captain Lockley.
Exactly. So that was, yeah, she was like in a lot of 1990s science fiction, like in Highlander,
yeah,
one of my favorite shows. She played a very big role. She was Cat, what's her last name? In The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
That's right. She had a fairly decent role there.
Yeah, she
right?
ran like the magazine that Lois and Clark worked for at one point in time.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, we ought to talk about some of the other roles that the actors on Babylon 5 were in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we're gonna need like an entire episode for Andreas Katsoulis because he did so many parts.
Oh, I mean, we could do that for probably all the actors. We could do that for Bruce Boxlight, and we could talk about Tron probably entirely for an hour, you and me. Mira Furlan has done a number of things. Claudia Christian, we could definitely cover a lot of the things she's done. That would be fun.
Pat Tallman has been in so much stuff.
Lots of stuff. And we could talk about what they're all doing now.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, some of them have spread out into different directions that have nothing to do with acting, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's a great topic, and you can do a lot with that, so that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I mean, there's still so much to cover, honestly, going into 2020 for the Zocalo. We have no shortage of topics at all.
Oh, no. And that's the one thing that I think that any either podcast or live cast that we're doing, that when you look at the kind of like the base of what you're doing, like, the basic outline and structure, many times people are like, oh, yeah, like we have a great idea. We can stretch that out over the course of like a couple of years. And sometimes they don't even get past one,
Right.
And if you're doing it consistently, that's really only 52 episodes, give or take. You might even only get to 48, 49 because you do, take weeks off.
Well, we got to take breaks. Sure.
Yeah.
We got lives.
Yeah, exactly.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. But, it's like, but, going into we'll be going into our third year, right?
Oh my God, already. Yeah, we're in year 2, so dang.
And season 3, historically, for most of science fiction that we like, especially our science fiction, season 3 is usually where it really kicks in.
Oh my God, baby. We're going to hit our stride.
So we're gonna have our severed dreams moment somewhere along the line. Next year.
God.
Yeah.
Get ready, everybody, because all hell's gonna break loose.
Nothing's the same anymore.
Oh
Right?
man, I'm telling you, 2020 is going to be one heck of a year. It really
What
is.
What are you looking forward to, like not just in the live stream, but personally in 2020? Is there something not like a resolution, but is there something you're really looking forward to, uh, in life, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, okay. Okay, so not resolutions, because honestly, I really don't do them. I feel like if you want to set a goal, don't wait for a date on a calendar.
Yeah.
Just start doing it now,
Yeah.
whenever it is. I don't care if it's December 31st, start then.
Right.
Um, yeah, in 2020, I am looking forward to going on a real vacation with my husband for the first time in several years. The last real vacation we took was probably in 2013,
Okay.
and we're hoping to go visit Canada this coming summer and taking a quote unquote real vacation. So that might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. Canada's beautiful. Anywhere in
Kelowna,
particular?
British Columbia, baby. That's
Okay.
where we want to go.
All right. That's very specific. Why is that?
Because it is in Canada, on average, the warmest place in the country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's an interesting place. It kind of between mountain ridges, and so
Mhm.
kind of like whatever heat they get, they retain a little bit, and there's a lot of lakes in that area. It looks beautiful, and it seems like it's kind of like a booming area. It's kind of up and coming. People are discovering it, sort of like how we have, and um I just kind of want to check it out. And if all hell breaks loose and if journalism comes under fire because my husband works in that industry and we have to flee this country, well, Canada's the first best choice, and that is where we would go.
Okay. So you're sowing the seeds of a decent exit strategy. That's what you're saying.
Well, what we're doing is we're checking it out to see, one, okay, do we like it? Are we having a good time? Not just as tourists, but could we potentially live there if things really get crazy in this
Mhm.
country, if things take a very dark turn? And what if we become refugees? Like, what if we really have to do that sort of a thing? I don't want that to happen. I hope it does not. But, we're on the precipice of what could be dark times.
Is journalism really like under that kind of siege right now?
It sure could be. It
Okay.
sure could be. I mean, journalism is so very complicated right now because a lot of places, a lot of outlets, a lot of people are bending over backward to address the whole both sides argument
Mhm.
and try to make as many people as they can happy. There's going to be a point where that no longer applies. And you need people to get to the truth, regardless of whether people wanted to hear it or not. It's an act of rebellion.
Mhm.
That's what journalism really is, to hold the truth accountable to those who don't want it out there.
This seems like the ISN takeover, you know.
More or less. I mean, I know that sounds extreme now, but give it a couple of years, it might not be.
Well, I hope it never gets to that, like ever.
Yeah, we're in a
Yeah.
very interesting time where autocracy is trying to rise all over the world, not just in the United States.
Mhm.
It's happening all over in Brazil and in Europe, and just you guys, I don't want this to become a political rant, but there's things happening in the world that I never thought were going to happen in my lifetime.
Well, the interesting thing about history is that a lot of people should that are listening to this or will listen to this should check out the year 1787, because in the year 1787 in world history, a lot of those autocracies that were in power uh, did not fare so well. So the people did rise.
Mm.
You know,
Interesting. Yes. And if you do read history, autocrats use the same playbook every time. Somehow, to some degree, it works. So if you want to know what to expect, read some history.
Yeah.
Go to World War II.
I'm pretty sure 1787 is the right date. It could be 1778. I'm pretty sure it's
1787 sounds about right, though, because that's right about the time that really the U.S. was actually the U.S.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going for?
Well, it was that there was like a lot of stuff going on with like France, Germany, a lot of like the European countries that were under that type of rule. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
either that or a completely like just failed world history, but that's probably true too.
Yes. To Terry Lynn, your comment about the Rocky Mountaineer train trip, that I've heard about that. It sounds so very cool. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. But that is something I'd love to do in the future, just because you'd see so much country that way. It would be amazing.
Yeah,
Just
there's nothing
yeah,
like travel, right?
traveling is so good for the soul.
Hmm.
It teaches you so many things. One, that you're just a little thing in a very big world, and that
Hmm.
there is a world to see out there. We are, as a people, as humanity, much more alike than we are not alike.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the little things, the little bits, is what makes culture so interesting.
And the accepting of that. I mean, I think that's
Oh
one thing
yeah.
that, a lot of people, especially in this very social media driven uh, culture that we live in, or that people live in, you see so much from the lens of things that have been curated for you to see the optimum effect of said whatever has been posted, either a picture or
Yeah.
a tweeted response or something. It's usually not very organic or
No.
spontaneous, right?
Nope. It's very intentional to be a performance of my quote hashtag whatever best
Mhm.
life.
Right. So one of the things that I've always loved about travel, and that's something I want to do a little bit more this year too, is do a little bit more traveling. I'm going to actually be traveling with my mom. My mom wants to take me on a trip.
Oh, where
Yeah.
does she want to take you?
She wants to take me to um, Vienna, actually.
Oh, no kidding. Austria,
Yeah.
huh?
Austria. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That
So,
could be interesting.
well, the reason why is because my mom has taken, there's my older brother, myself, my sister, and my younger brother. There are four of us in the family. And ever since my dad
Uh-huh.
passed away, she's been traveling a lot, and she's gone on a trip. It's one of her life goals is she's gone on a trip with each one of my siblings, except for me.
Oh, so it's your
Yeah.
turn.
So it's my turn.
Hey. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
And the reason why that particular place is because she knows how much I love classical music. And I think it is Beethoven's like 250th anniversary. So there's going to be a lot of classical
Oh.
music being performed. Um,
Hey.
and also, she wants to take me on one of those tours where they go through Salzburg and do like the Sound of Music thing.
Oh, cool. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. But I'm really
Do it.
excited. I've never spent that much alone time with my mom in a long, long, long time. And I think that's, one of the things that she wants to do before she gets unable to travel, you know?
Definitely take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
you can't obviously you can put a price on it, but, uh, uh, you know, um,
Boy, those moments though.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
As your mom continues to get older and older, you'll probably really end up cherishing that time if and when you take it.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun, and, I want to see like, do you ever go to a different country or a different state or, even a different city and hang out with people and try and figure out like, what do you guys watch on TV? Or what?
Right? Like what are you guys into? What's
Yeah.
your lifestyle? Oh, I
Yeah.
love that part of culture because so much of it is the same and then little things are so very different yet the
Mhm.
same. I mean,
I've,
it's fun.
I've always wanted to like meet like science fiction fans on their turf. Like, if I like say, oh, let's, like just stick a pin on the map. It's like, oh, I'm going to go to Kazakhstan. Right. And
See what that's like. Yeah. That'd
and
be
like go
cool.
there and meet up with Babylon 5 fans in Kazakhstan.
That'd be amazing. For the record, I have a friend who's in Kazakhstan. Now, he's not a Babylon 5 fan to my knowledge, but I actually have a friend who lives there. Isn't that weird?
So make him a Babylon 5 fan and see what he thinks.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
You're right. Terry Lynn, you're right. If not now, then when? Norm, go, go, go. And I believe me, if you listen to a podcast that I used to do called Blood of Kings, it was a Highlander podcast. There's an episode where they basically talk about, immortals live forever, but there was a relationship that a 5,000-year-old man just started with a woman who was dying from cancer, and she had 12 to 18 months to live.
Mm.
And that's the great dichotomy of that. Duncan said to his friend, he's like, she's going to die. And it's like, I know, but I could too. I could do that tomorrow. I could lose my head in a sword fight tomorrow and I'd be gone too. So I might
That's
as well
just it.
yeah, you got to take that advantage now, right? You got to do it now.
Right. We all know that at some point we are going to die. We have
Yeah.
no idea how or when. It could be tomorrow. It could be some freak accident, or it could be 80 years from now from old age.
Right. So it's yeah, you're right. I mean, Terry Lynn, you're totally right about that. And I'll report back in when that happens. Hopefully I'll be able to sing Edelweiss somewhere there.
She's also right about what Mira has said, that Americans are very isolated and need to travel more. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
We are very isolated. I think as America as a whole, we live in this bubble. We think it's all about us, and it's so not.
The interesting thing about that is because America is such a huge melting pot, so many cultures can be visited by just crossing either a city line or a state line, or just the border to Mexico or the border to Canada. It's because there's so much going on, which I think sometimes why, like if I wanted to like actually experience a very authentic Armenian culture, dinner, lifestyle.
Go to Glendale.
Exactly. I could go to Glendale, which is only an hour and 15 minutes away from me.
Exactly.
Or if I wanted to go to like one of the best Mexican restaurants anyone's like ever had, it's like right outside of LA County. It's called El Tepeyac. The burritos are the size of our heads. Like,
I love when burritos are just so big and bomb.
Right? Exactly.
It's one of my favorite things about living in LA, man.
Or if you wanted to have an authentic Chinese experience, like authentic Chinese food, a dim sum or something like that, go to San Francisco, or Chinatown, in LA.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about where we live is we've got all of that right here, and it is as good as you can get pretty much anywhere in the world. However, that's not the same as, say, if you go down to Mexico, get yourself some authentic Mexican food. How do you see them preparing it? Just being immersed by the people.
Sure. Yeah.
Who live there, or going to China, or going anywhere, going to Greece, going to Italy. I mean, yeah, there's just so much perspective you get when you travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If there's one thing, I've told you this, and I'm watching Deep Space Nine right now for pretty much the first time. And one of the things that I love about the Promenade, which is like basically our sister dynamic, because the Zócalo is the Promenade, is the Zócalo. Right? But one of the things that they really did well in the Promenade is they really showed off a lot of the kind of like the alien vendors there, more so than I think they did on Babylon 5. Like, you had like they always talk about like the Klingon restaurant or the Jumji stick vendors, you know what I mean? And I wanted to see more. Like, I know we had fresh air, and I know that there was the one thing in Third Space where was it Third Space? No, not Third Space. And I keep getting these mixed up. In River of Souls, where Lockley finds that really good whatever
hot the barbecue place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I wanted to see more of that, where like they were finding like meat on sticks, or weird things to eat, like someone just like gives you a bowl of fresh gach, or
right. We got little tidbits of that, like Minbari cuisine. We know there's flarn.
Yeah.
There's spoo. There's McBarry's, which really?
I forgot about McBarry's.
Oh, shame.
McBarry's.
McBarry's. I freaking love the name. I don't know if I approve of the food. Yeah.
Would you have like a flarn burger?
A flarn burger. Ew. That's either really good or really bad.
I don't think Minbari's they weren't meat eaters, were they?
It would occur to me that they wouldn't be.
I don't think they were. I was wondering like how so what is like what's the warrior caste eat?
Tofu, like everybody else. Because that's essentially what flarn is to me, is it's like little cubes of tofu.
Right. Now, did you know that when there's this one episode where when Jakar says, "Have you tried the spoo? It's quite fresh."
Oh, yeah.
Like fresh spoo is an insult to Centauri. Like the spoo has to be like aged.
Oh, I never caught on to that.
Yeah, like a spoo. And I think spoo was their spam.
Essentially, like, okay, didn't JMS once describe it as meat flavored jello? Like it's really jiggly and soft, and it spoo sigh before they're harvested.
It's what his grandma made. That didn't kill him. Remember in
Yes, I know. Ew.
She got all those choice cuts of meat, then scraped off the green bits, then chopped them up, and then put them in sausage case, and then boiled them to the point where they wouldn't kill them, but kill the taste, and then covered them with sauerkraut. that would kill his taste buds anyway?
Ew.
That's what I thought spoo was. That
I
there's
mean,
like, to serve this like this gray gelatinous mass. Like
that is, I mean, it's got to be close.
that has to be it. It has to be, because they described it as like.
Why did you ask JMS on Twitter?
I will. I totally will.
See what he says about that, because he has replied to you before.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
Okay, I will do that.
Terry, I have eaten warm Jello, and it was not in a solid state at that point.
Wouldn't warm Jello just start sweating?
It would just, it would sweat and then would just kind of liquefy again.
That's nasty.
I mean.
That's like melted fruitcake.
Oh, and fruitcake in and of itself is an adventure.
I'm not sure if I've ever eaten a good fruitcake, if that's not an oxymoron.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's tough. I know it can be done. I have had good, fresh fruitcake before, but did I like it? Well, no.
Yeah, right?
No, no. There's just so much other food out there.
Okay, so I'm gonna rein us back in from this diatribe, which is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what? We have not focused this whole show, and we're 40 minutes in. I mean, this really is kind of like the FU end of year free for all.
This is the filibuster show, man.
I mean, it is, because we had to cancel last week.
Yeah. So let's
I've had Bravari, and you have too.
This is true.
Sorry, Garibaldi.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not like drunk history level Bravari.
Oh, no. Speaking of which, okay, things we've done in the last year, that wrecked my liver. And next time we do that in the distant future, like I figure, let's ration ourselves to one of those a year, huh?
I think that's fair.
Okay, one a year, and we schedule a day off from work the following day, because that was tough.
Yeah.
We got lit before the show. We continued to stay lit during the show, and then after the show, I started drinking water as fast as I could, and it still wasn't enough. It was tough.
I almost burnt down the house.
Yeah, you did, with your chicken nuggets. That was not good.
Yep.
Thank goodness for Carol coming in to save the day.
Yep. Yes. All that.
Norm, do you have a smoke detector in your house that will go off? That's not, that you have the batteries in.
I'm sure I've checked that. Yeah.
Okay, because then at least the smoke alarm would have alerted you to, hey, dipshit, you've got nuggets in the oven, and probably woken you up.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I was pretty passed out. The house would have burned down around me.
Oh, dang. Well, never mind. Because in my house, the smoke alarm is just a little too sensitive and goes off every time we open the oven. Well, guess which battery recently expired and we have not replaced yet, because we're enjoying the lack of noise so much.
Just be safe. All I gotta say.
I will not pass out and cook chicken nuggets. I promise.
I promised that too once upon a time.
Yeah, Terry, we really did need oxy pills at the end of that episode. That would have done us a huge favor. We drank way too much.
Or synthahol. I mean, that's isn't that the great thing about 10-4? You can like get trashed, walk out of literally walk out of the doors, and boom, the alcohol's gone.
Be fine the next day. Yeah, there might be something to that, but at the same time, there's been enough complaints that that's not quote unquote the real thing for me to think that it would feel the same.
It's like the O'Douls of the 24th century.
And who likes O'Douls?
Not me.
Not me. Maybe. I mean, I've never tried Zima. I mean, maybe Zima's a different kind of thing. It's just because they sponsored Babylon 5.
That's so weird. We should look into that actually as a show topic. Like the pop culture references that were in Babylon 5 at the time, because obviously the sponsors pushed those through, like Zima, like McBarry's.
It had to have been, I want to know why Zima of all things got chosen. I really do.
It was huge. I mean, it was like,
in its day, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Advertisements
huge.
were everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, marketing on Zima was ginormous.
Here's what I think happened: is they blew their whole budget on advertising, and the product was not that good, and that's why it just kind of slipped away into the ether, because nobody liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever had that, but hey, it made primetime television in a way, syndicated.
It did. It did.
You know?
It's there for life now.
Yeah, but
Zima lives on in the future. Apparently, it makes a comeback.
we should look into that for sure.
We should. Okay, make some notes for 2020, right?
Okay, so what was your favorite? You said you had favorite episodes for this year.
Yeah. Okay, I did like a top 3. I went about our back catalog, that we have on YouTube, and tried to pick out my top 3 episodes that we did through 2019. And so here's what I came up with.
Okay.
Number 3, when we did Deserted Station.
That was fun.
Kind of like the desert island of various B5 things. You know what? That was kind of a tough one. There were some tough choices to make with that, but gosh, that was fun.
Yeah. Deserted island scenario was always fun just because your answers today can completely different from your answers tomorrow.
Right. Right. It's so subjective too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
everybody's opinion, and there's no wrong answers. And so that's what makes it a lot of fun. That was great.
Yep.
But I think one of our very best shows this year was when we did our John Sheridan moments.
Yeah.
We were solid on that thing. I looked at the playback on that one, and I'm just thinking, we did all right.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was a lot of fun, and that's something that we should do for obviously the other characters too.
Oh, very much, very much. Yeah, and especially here on YouTube, where we might have done it for other characters when we were on Facebook, but that was one of the big developments of this year. Is we crushed down our Facebook platform for various reasons, and we're trying to kind of get ourselves established on YouTube as well as other avenues for discussion. And so, yeah, we'll just see how that pans out in 2020.
Do you think that I don't think that we've really lost any momentum per se from like the Facebook group to the YouTube viewers, because when we were doing our live streams there, our numbers actually on YouTube are higher from viewership than there were on consistently on when we were on Facebook. And I think it's because a lot of people like being in a group. You can add yourself to a group, or people can add you to a group, whether you like it or not, whether you participate or not. So
it can be very passive. Sure.
People are just kind of like driving the numbers. I mean, like when I ran and was admin for my Highlander group, we had something like 2K, something like that, like people that were in the group, but I really only saw like 5 people participate.
Yeah, quantity is not the same as quality, and I feel like we have narrowed down our audience to those that really do care, to the quality audience. I'm not sad about that.
Right. I would, yeah, exactly. I would rather have, like, Carrie, we're having a conversation. I mean, the only thing that's really kind of stopping us right now from being like, all together and hanging out at a bar and having a drink or having something to eat and talking about Babylon 5 is just location, right?
Right. It's just sheer distance. This is the closest thing we can get next to that.
Yeah. So, and I always find that a lot more intimate and a lot more, I guess, personally, just personally satisfying to be able to talk to audiences that want to talk back to you, as opposed to talking to an audience that just are inflated numbers based on algorithms or likes.
Right. You don't entirely know if anybody's even really tuning in. There might be 2,000 people in the group, but really, 50 people are actually looking in, and then 1% of those people are actually commenting back.
Yeah.
Statistically, that's the thing, is 1% of your whole audience will actually interact with you.
I think, I mean, there's a certain thing with social media where I think people just really just overextend themselves. Like, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this.
Yeah, it's easy. Sure. But then they ignore everything because it's too overwhelming. You can't focus on any one thing.
Right. And you can't really get into deep and meaningful conversations, or conversations that people want to extend into the next show and the next show after that. And that's what you want to do when you're broadcasting. You want to reach an audience that's not just that you can provide something to on a consistent basis, but you want them to be able to also like chime in and say, hey, remember that one time on that one show when you said that one thing? You want that, you want those moments.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'd rather have a core loyal audience, which we do have, which is, slowly growing little bit by little bit. And yes, moving platforms does make it more complicated, but I think the more of a foundation we build here, the better off we'll be. Plus, people can tune in at any time after we do the live cast and
Right.
see what we've done here, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And
And
people can tune in anytime that they want. And those numbers have been relatively consistent.
actually, if based on the last YouTube creator's email that that was sent to the Zocalo Cast Gmail address, there were very promising numbers just based on how many shows that we've done, the amount of time people watch. They usually watch the entirety of the episode.
Oh, that's good. Yay.
Yeah,
All right.
and I think that, like maybe if we like said, hey, you know what, you can listen to us like a podcast. All you have to do is just play it through the YouTube app on your phone, right? And you can download it also. So whenever you want to. So there are a bunch of different ways that you can like access our show.
Right. You can do it however you want. It's so good. Yeah, it's good stuff. And I feel like in 2020 we are going to grow. Babylon 5 fans are a passionate bunch. There's not a ton of us, but we're here, and I feel like we are connecting with the right people. My number one episode, by the way, Norm, went to the episode we did with Summer and Tim from the Babylon podcast.
Yep.
That was a really special thing just because they've been in the fandom. They've been out there doing their thing for so long. And so the privilege of having them on our show was a big deal.
Totally. I totally agree. That was my number one pick too, because it's kind of like being able to kind of meet your podcast heroes in a way, you know?
A little bit. I mean, it's like they're the first ones.
Yeah.
Of the Babylon podcast, just even, just, I don't know, fandom in general, putting themselves out there like that. Yeah, they were out there way before we were. And for them to come on our show, that was such a treat. They were so much fun. They were so insightful, had such good commentary. We had a great discussion. And so I'm really looking forward to doing more of that in the future, which we have plans to do.
Yep. And I think that, I don't think that we've actually got a resolution on the linear situation with the Day of the Dead, which is fine
because there's so much. We're not going to.
Right.
That's okay.
That's obviously all up for interpretation. But I would like to post like some of the really big, like more of like the bigger themes of Babylon 5 to them. Like what do they think of this? What do they think of that? Just have like a bigger roundtable discussion with all of them again. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they'd be great candidates for that just because their knowledge of Babylon 5 is just as comprehensive, if not more so, than our own.
I would say so. Just from the sheer volume of their shows and how much they have discussed it, like out loud,
Yeah, they're very well rehearsed, if nothing else. They've got good talking points. So yeah, I'm hoping we can do more of that in the future. I want to talk a little bit about what we've done overall in the past of this last year. Just, a little bit of self-reflection. We did do our 3-part on becoming Superman. We already talked about that. I want to give a special shout out to Philip Gilfus, who was our other guest, on YouTube this year. When you were out, Norm, he and I, we had a fun show. We talked about writing some more TV movies.
Yep.
And what we would want those to be. That was a great time. A lot of fun. I suspect in the future there will be more guests. I mean, there's going to be times when I have to take the week off. You've got to take the week off. It's going to happen, and that'll be fine. It'll be great. We need more voices. There is more to the Babylon 5 community than just us and our viewers.
True enough.
We also did our See It or Skip It.
That's the format that has really been very popular amongst the listeners. That's one thing I get on Twitter all the time. They really want to know what
we think.
Yeah. So,
and as we go through, it's getting harder and harder, and we're going to have to tackle season 4 next time. Are you kidding me?
Yep. Season 4. Yep.
Harsh.
Yeah. Season 4 is going to be hard. Season 5, probably not so much, but it'll be interesting when we actually do a See It or Skip It for Crusade.
Oh, now that, yeah. Okay. That's a good reason for me to rewatch Crusade one more time. Not just for our discussion with Summer and Tim, which we do have queued up for Q1, but oh man, that I don't know what to think about that. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. And obviously, maybe we should roll, because there's only 13 episodes of Crusade that were aired. Maybe we can roll See It or Skip It, Crusade, and the TV movies in one show.
Ooh, okay. Now that is not as hard.
You know?
Yeah,
So.
but that could be fun. That could be a lot of fun. I also like Terry's suggestion of a program regarding how the characters changed over the 5 years, their evolution. You know what would be fun?
We talked about that, remember?
No.
Yeah, I asked you, it's like, let's look at, like, say, Garibaldi from the first moment we saw him to the last moment we saw him.
Really? When did you talk about that?
I said, I think I texted you this a couple times. We're like, wouldn't it be neat to see, like, who changed? Like, I asked you this question. I said, who do you think changed the most?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's such a difficult question because everybody does change so much. You know what would be fun is just like, you know how every season on the DVDs has a theme? We've got Signs of Importance to All Alone in the Night to, Point of No Return.
Wheel of Fire.
What if we came up with a theme for each character per season, and then like we would focus on a character per episode, go through each of those seasons and come up with their theme?
John, like Nukem Sheridan to not Nukem Sheridan.
Wait. When does John not nuke him?
Well, when he passes to Beyond the Rim.
Oh, okay. I guess that would do it, yeah.
But there was an explosion of light, to be fair.
As is tradition.
Yeah. Nukem Sheridan.
Oh my God. I told you off camera that my husband and I, who's watching the show for the very first time, we watched the very end of the Shadow War in season 4, and there were some nukes involved in that.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, John Nukem Sheridan. Might be making it into Babel for 5 in the near future.
Nukem Sheridan. You got to love it.
Yeah, that's the other Babylon 5 thing I do, in case you were not aware. That's on YouTube.
Yeah, so what are your final thoughts as we're wrapping up our hour? What are your final thoughts for 2019? And are there anything? Is there anything? Are there anything? Imagine take some English courses. Is there anything that we did not do in 2019 that you really wanted to do? I have one thing.
Oh, do you? Okay. I don't know if there's anything that I was just so itching to do that we didn't cover that I don't think we couldn't cover in the future. Let me put it that way. What is that thing?
Celebrity interview.
Oh, with Claudia. We had a little bit of a chance and we never really got that going.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should focus on that sort of thing a little more, especially with the success that Babylon Podcast had.
Right. And I think that, see, I've never really been one to kind of like hunt down, that's not the right word, to pursue and try and schedule times for celebrities to come on the show. Now, I know maybe you did at one point in time when you were doing These Are the Voice, To the Journey.
To the Journey. We did have a couple of interviews there. Yeah, we interviewed Garrett Wong and we talked with Vaughn Armstrong, which was a lot of fun. Now, with those experiences with Vaughn Armstrong, it was just him. I had a connection to somebody who knew him. And so I reached out to him and asked him if he'd be interested. And he said, yeah, sure, of course. And it was really easy. And with Garrett, we just went through his manager, who's his now wife. Again, that was fairly easy. I don't know if that's as easy as it is, or if this is a really difficult thing. Like, it's not something I've pursued that much. I do not feel like an expert in any way.
Yeah, when I got some of the celebrities on for Highlander, which included one Mage Cullen, Anthony DeLongis. Kevin, my partner at the time for Blood of Kings, he was really good. He just had that knack of, you know what, why not? Like, what's the worst thing I could do is they say no, right?
Exactly.
And
right. Or just get no response at all because whatever, we're nobody. It's fine.
Yeah. So it's just one of those kind of things where I don't like bugging people for that, Yeah,
especially, it's their time. We're not compensating them.
Right.
We're talking about a show that aired 20-something years ago, and they've talked about it to exhaustion.
Right. Totally.
So, yeah, it feels like a weird thing where, like, what sort of original thing can we offer? And that's our job to think of that.
Right. And a salesman friend of mine, he has a great way of looking at life. He says, you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
like
Oh,
I
and
said,
Terry, you have a great comment. Maybe Summer can give us some pointers just because she has done this quite a bit.
totally. Yeah. And I think that their help is going to be really valuable to us, when we look about this stuff in the future. And maybe they can give us some,
we ought to tap Summer for some knowledge because she's got it.
Yeah. Because
if she'd be willing to embark,
I wouldn't mind talking to Marie Marshall on the show. That's just me.
Right? Oh my God. Okay, I would you know what I would do? Is you would talk to Marie Marshall, and then I'm just going to sit back here and watch and listen. Because I want to see Norm drool so hard.
Oh no, this will be like, so being Filipino, I have the DNA of the flirty Filipino. This will happen.
Do your thing, homeboy. Go for it. Go.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. Same thing with Claudia. It would be so much fun. But that would be your time. That would be your time. You'd
yeah.
a lot of
well, and Claudia, she seems very receptive to just, if she's got the time, she'll indulge you. Definitely.
I think now that we have all these videos, in our library, and if we approached one of them and say, like, what do these guys do? It's not like we just have like one show that we did like months ago. We have like a really nice library of shows. We have a nice Twitter following, and I think that there's enough of a presence that we have in the fan community that they would be like, okay, I think this would be actually worth my time.
I hope so. Yeah, that would be cool. I kind of wish we would have gotten Claudia when she was promoting her cookbook because she was really wanting to talk about that. That time hasn't completely passed, but I feel like we're a little behind that now. But if she has another project coming up, maybe we could help promote that sort of thing, We can
always reach out. Like I said, it's just
right.
And they might even want to promote it still, promotions,
Yeah. Oh, and Terry, if we could get Mira on here, you would see me fangirling really hard. That would be the one thing where I'd be maybe a little bit starstruck. Yeah, Mira and JMS, I think, would be the two that I would be I would be a little giddy. I'm just, hi.
Yeah.
I forgot everything I was going to say. Hi.
Yeah, I would just be like sitting here, just straight intimidation of JMS. I'd be like, oh, okay.
Dude, he would own us so hard.
So
his intellect is just off the charts.
He's just so quick. I remember seeing him years ago at San Diego Comic-Con, and somebody walked up to the open mic and he goes, "Hi, Joe, big fan." He's like, "Actually, you're kind of a medium-sized fan." And it was just like, that was it. We're off to the races. Right?
I mean, how can you compare? I mean, come on.
Yeah. And
oh my God.
It was like a lot of I was like,
right.
Yeah.
You're just stumbling over your words, and he's so patiently awaiting for you to put a complete sentence together.
He was brilliant to watch. Brilliant to watch. A master in action.
Love him.
Yeah.
Love him. Yeah, Terry, if you get a chance to talk to Mira, let us know how that goes.
Heck, if you want, we can actually send you a Zocalo cast t-shirt. Maybe you can give it to her.
Hey, that could be cool.
Because Sean gave one to Claudia. Claudia has one of our shirts.
Yes.
Sean Dempsey.
I know. That's so cool. That's so wicked. I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember the biggest thrill I ever got in my entire life podcasting was when we gave Adrian Paul one of our Blood of Kings t-shirts, and he was on Twitter and Instagram talking to his fans wearing our shirt. I almost died. I was just like,
amazing.
Wow. Like, how does that happen? Right?
I mean, sometimes being the keeper of the flames.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I mean, we've talked about that before. That's what we feel is our job as fans. Since Babylon 5 really cannot grow at this particular time because of things.
Yeah.
It's our job to make sure that awareness is out there, new content comes out, we discuss what we can while we can.
Right.
Do our thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel you. Yep.
So in 2020, Norm, what do you want to do more of as far as the Zocalo is concerned?
Well, I definitely want to, like, the celebrity ask is definitely on top of my list. It would be a lot of fun to get somebody on there. I know Marshall Teague was interested.
Oh, yeah,
At
yeah,
one point,
yeah.
because he follows us on Twitter, I believe. Obviously,
Cool.
Claudia's there. The door was open, but we didn't take advantage of that. Shame on us.
Yes,
Um,
that sucked. That was bad.
I think that just again opening up the Zocalo cast to a larger breadth of not just Babylon 5, but J. Michael Straczynski work, I think would be like really awesome for, especially for the listeners, because sometimes when people say like, okay, like following like a band, you know, like a rock band, it's like, oh, I love watching these guys, and all of a sudden someone in the comments says, you like these guys, you like these guys. Right. And
Right,
then a
right.
huge sphere of influence just starts cascading, you know, in the fan base. And that's really good, you know, because
Sure.
like a lot of people probably like really like Babylon 5, but it's like, if you really like that, you should check out, you know, like the similarities that you see in, like, say, Captain Power, or like what he did in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, or in Changeling, or in Sense8, you know, or
Right.
in his published stuff. And now coming up with the Resistance that's coming up, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be reading those things to death. So I think that it's not just like Babylon 5 centric, and I think that embracing kind of like the whole aspect of the Zocalo is like the Zocalo 67 right now. Terry Lynn, I believe, is our subscribership on YouTube, which is, I think,
Getting
it's
up there.
great.
We're
Yeah.
growing.
The what was I saying? Oh, just the entire sphere of influence that JMS has brought to pop culture is amazing.
Certainly.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'd like to start going into some of those things, and books.
Books. Speaking of which, your Christmas present to me has been very near and dear to my heart.
Oh, I'm glad.
You guys, he got me the script book that's Sleeping in Light Through the TV Movies. I have been just engrossed in that. When I'm reading before bed. Oh.
How's Sleeping in Light? I mean, does it?
That's difficult.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about. Yeah.
I've purposefully not gotten too much into that right just yet. I've been studying the Lost Tales.
Oh, cool.
Just,
okay.
I've been trying to analyze JMS's storytelling through his screenwriting format.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning things through that right now.
Well, I have a great way to start off 2020.
What's that?
Why don't you give us a breakdown of that book?
Ooh. Okay. Well, what sort of things would you like to know? Because that might be a little hard to articulate.
Well, what I would like to know is, first of all, like, how does he break down? Like, what is the point of the book? You know, the book has to have a point. Like, what is it teaching?
Okay.
Right. And another thing is, like, okay, is it like a script to screen thing? Are you seeing edits? Are you seeing, you know, his notes? Are you seeing like, this didn't work, we had to trash an entire page of stuff and rewrite it on the fly? I mean, is that the kind of stuff we're talking about? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so some things, yeah, there are a couple of like missing scene things that maybe got cut for time.
Ooh, okay.
But as far as notes, no, you don't really see many of those. You don't see that.
I was just wondering if there's any kind of like behind the, like, you know, JMS saying like, you know, I really wanted to do this, but I couldn't do it for time or budget or whatever. You know,
no, there's not commentary like that. It's strictly the scripts, as intended, and then it occurs to me that they shoot them as they're written, but then when they get into the editing bay, certain things are cut out for time.
I think that maybe if you looked at, say, like, say, the Lost Tales, right? And say like, okay, so this is what was intended through the script, but in watching the Lost Tales, it didn't either. Some things translated well, some things didn't translate well. Some things were left on the cutting room floor. So like, let's look at the process of it, of like JMS, like putting, you know, idea to paper, a dream given form, if you will, and how it's executed, because he did a lot of the execution. He was a lot more hands-on with the Lost Tales than say most of it, because it was a very small crew.
Yeah.
And then he was dealing with a lot of green screen, which means that he could put his characters in a room and just kind of manipulate the background behind them. Right. And wasn't Harris Yulin in that? No, Harris Yulin wasn't the priest. I thought it was a different guy.
No.
Yeah, but
Who are you thinking?
It was the Lockley thing with the priest.
Oh God, who was the priest? I don't even remember.
Yeah. He reminded me of Harris Yulin a lot, but it wasn't Harris Yulin.
Okay, I'll have to look. I also got from my sister messages through Earth through War Without End Part 1.
Oh, nice.
And I'm noticing a lot of little things being cut from that one. So, to be honest, that might be the better breakdown just because of more things that I'm noticing.
That's fine. Like, it's kind of like you want to see the process, right?
Yeah. 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 I am seeing some things that, like, I can see why they cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can, and then you can like fire that back and like ask the listeners, like, what do you think? You think it was right that he cut it? Do you think that would have helped?
Yeah.
You know, because
and
it's
little
hindsight,
snippets.
Really.
I mean, by and large, that script for Messages from Earth is so intact. But there's also name changes and little things that I can point out that would be a lot of fun. So I am game for that. Totally.
Yeah, if you don't mind me putting that on you, because that's like
sure.
That'll be really interesting, and maybe like people will be a little bit more inspired to take a look at these books, on Amazon and pick up one for themselves.
Yeah. For the record, guys, I mean, from what I've seen so far, it's so very worth it. I've had a really good time looking through these, seeing a little more of a glimpse into how JMS's mind works and how it translates into his writing.
Nice. Yeah, very cool.
I'm learning some things.
All right. So we got our first show for 2020.
Okay. Well, I'm going to study hard. I love it. I'll do it.
Awesome. I'm glad you're
about Messages from Earth specifically. I'll make some detailed notes.
I'm glad you're up for the challenge. I think it'll be awesome.
You got it.
So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. 2019 was a great year. I think that we learned a lot. I think that we were able to get a lot of really great content on YouTube, and 2020 is just going to be even better.
Yeah, I feel like this year we changed our footing, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we found our footing, and from here we just need to kind of like stomp, and then we're going to grow from here.
So are you saying that TikTok is the Warren Keffer of the Zócalo?
It really was. Yeah, we had a good time while it lasted. However, that account is now gone.
Yeah. So some of the things that we did also, we when we shifted social platforms, we took a look at a couple things. Now Reddit, we to be completely fair, you and I have not really kind of curated that particular account the best that we possibly could.
Not as much as we should have. There are some posts on there, but really it's so quiet, but it still exists.
But I think that's actually better. The TikTok thing, that's just really not our audience. So right now,
unfortunately, no, we found that out.
Between Twitter, I think is still like our biggest draw.
By far and away. Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of people
and that's
on Twitter
okay.
Still.
You know what? We can focus on that. I'm not worried about that. And I don't care about Facebook and Instagram.
Actually, I'm on Facebook, but I don't do the Zocalo on Facebook anymore because, again, when you're dealing with those kind of groups, a lot of people just kind of like click just to be included or inclusive, but they don't really participate. So you're not really getting a lot of really quality interaction with the group.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a waste of time because there were times when the Zocalo on Facebook was really awesome. But there's also the consideration that you were handling that on your own entirely. And after I had made the decision to leave Facebook, it's like, oh, Norm, you get to do this all by yourself now. And that's not really fair to you. So we're still trying to find the best way to interact. And so far, we've really just found that YouTube and Twitter are it.
Yeah, and I think that that's fine. I mean, there are a lot of different ways that you can slice this pie when it comes to like trying to get your message out there on social media, and again, there are some people that were on Twitter that didn't follow Facebook. And I personally, like when you're looking at like all the people that are responding, you're like, oh, I'm getting all my information on Twitter. Those people they were outweighing the people that on Facebook, they were saying like, oh, no, you can't close the group because, this is the only place so it's like, you gotta kind of like sort of elect their two different evil masters. In a way, right?
Yeah, it's tough because I understand the convenience of Facebook and how a lot of people get just a whole plethora of information that way. But at the same time, I mean, you and I, Norm, have talked about just that platform in general and the irresponsibility of privacy issues and whatnot. This is a big issue for social media in general. And we made a very tough decision.
Yeah, and I think that it was a blip. in the scheme of things for us. And I think that we recovered really well, and we're just going to push a little bit harder on making sure that people know that YouTube, this platform, is our platform, and that Twitter is pretty much going to be like our forte, if you will, when it comes to advertising us on social media.
Yeah. And I feel that, I mean, as another year goes on, as long as we're consistent, people are going to know that they can find us here. And as long as you subscribe, you're going to get the new content, and then we're good.
Actually, that's a great point. It's like, so if you like what we're doing here on the Zocalo, please make sure that you like and you share and you subscribe and you hit the notification button, because once this episode is done, it will bing you. And
you
then
know what?
let you know.
It might bing you when we go live too. So if you don't necessarily want to remember on your own that we go live at 6 p.m. Pacific every Sunday night, it might tell you, it might give you a notification in your browser saying,
that's true.
hey,
it does do that. You're
guess
right.
what? The Zocalo's live. You want to tune in? Yes or no? And you can join us at your leisure.
No, you're right. That's right. That's exactly what it's like. When it's about to start is when that happens. So
yeah.
When it's
it's good things. And I feel like YouTube, as far as longevity goes, this is the way we need to go. And Be Live has been a very good platform for us. We've had plenty of success on it. I feel like we're in a good place as far as making our content and making it happen with good quality.
Be Live, or this is StreamYard, right?
I'm sorry, StreamYard.
You got to make sure. You got to make sure that you give credit's due. Now, Be Live was okay. For Facebook,
Be Live was fine, but you know what? No, this is Be Live. Wait, no, Be Live. Okay. Oh God. Okay. I need to shut up. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
So on this platform, on StreamYard, this has been very stable for both of us, because we were having some live recording issues, with either lag issues or bandwidth issues and stuff like that. But at least for this, doing
problems.
live, we don't have any problems at all with this.
Yeah, in a way, I'm not sad that those videos are gone, because they were probably hard to watch.
They're not gone, Shar.
Shh. They're not here.
I have them.
They're not here.
They're not here on YouTube, but they exist in an echo of a data crystal somewhere.
You didn't do it. No, they don't exist. It's fine.
Uh-oh.
I sound like a phone sex operator. I'm sorry.
I thought I was getting like the demon.
We're way over time now. Should we wrap this up?
I think so. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody. When you get a chance to listen to this, thank you, Terry Lynn, for being with us tonight. That's really awesome.
Terry Lynn, our biggest commenter. Thank you.
Yes, and hopefully you heal up from that little bit of a spill that you took. So 2019 has been great. A lot of changes and a lot of headway made for the Zocalo here on YouTube. But 2020 is going to prove to be an even better year. And it's going to be year 3 for us. And statistically, with seasons, when the seasons get to season 3, like Star Trek: The Next Generation, Star Trek: Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5 in particular, season 3s are where things happen. So until then, we will be back in, I'd say, a few weeks. We're going to give everyone a break over the New Year's weekend.
Indeed. But then we'll come back with our feet running on the ground and doing this thing. And
we already have our first episode slated. And that's all on Shar's shoulders. So she's going to kill it when it comes to prepping. And we'll be back. We will be back the week after New Year's weekend. And we will start with the third season, season 3, 2020.
That's right.
Of the Zocalo here on YouTube. So until then, thanks everybody for supporting us. Thank you everybody for your support the entire year, the entire 2 years that we've been active here. And we couldn't be more grateful. We are both very thankful.
Very much so. So thank you guys if you're tuning in now or later or whenever, and hopefully in the future.
So until then, I've been Norm.
I've been Shar.
And we will be seeing you.
Bye.